All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to break down a system that claims you can build a seriously profitable side hustle basically from scratch. And the main tool you need, it's just your words. It's called the Vibe Coding Blueprint. And honestly, it promises some pretty big results, pretty fast. So, let's get into it.
Okay, so let's just get right to the headline number, the one that makes everyone lean in a little closer. The core promise of this whole blueprint is $10,000 a month. Yeah, it's a huge, audacious number. It's designed to get your attention, for sure. And it's the target this entire system is aiming for. But wait, it gets even wilder. The claim is that you can hit that $10,000 target in just 90 days. And get this, with zero prior experience. So you have to ask, right? How is that even possible? Is this for real or is it just a bunch of hype? Well, that's what we're here to figure out. So what's the secret sauce here? What's the engine that's supposed to make all of this happen? Well, it all comes down to a concept called vibe coding, and it's being presented as a whole new toolkit, not for old school programmers, but for regular creators like you and me. Now, I know what you're thinking when you hear that word coding, but don't let it scare you off. This has nothing to do with learning Python or JavaScript or any of that complex stuff. Vibe coding is literally just describing what you want to build in plain, simple English. You just explain the vibe of your idea, and you let an AI translate that into an actual working product. Think of it this way. You get to be the architect, and the AI is your entire construction crew.
So, what are we building with this new superpower? Well, the goal here isn't to create the next viral sensation or the next TikTok. Nope. It's way more grounded than that. The whole strategy is to find and solve small, very specific, real-world problems for small businesses. You know, things like a custom appointment booker for a local hair salon, or maybe a simple inventory tracker for that coffee shop down the street. Real problems, real businesses.
And the process itself is designed to be just incredibly straightforward. I mean, it really boils down to just 3 steps. 1, find a simple problem that needs solving. 2, describe what the solution would look like, just using your own words. And 3, hand it off and let the AI do all the heavy lifting of actually building it. That's it. Okay, so having the right tool, that's one piece of the puzzle. But this framework argues that having the right mindset is maybe even more important. And that brings us to something called the momentum mindset, a way of thinking that pretty much flips traditional business advice on its head. And this is where things get really interesting. The core idea here is totally counterintuitive. We've always been told to focus, right? Pick that one perfect idea and pour everything you have into it. Well, this framework says, nope, that's actually a trap. Instead, it's all about momentum, the incredible power you get from just getting small things done quickly, building speed and getting that ball rolling. Just look at this comparison. It makes it crystal clear. On one side, you've got the old way, the focus trap. That's where you spend months agonizing over one perfect idea. You take on a ton of financial risk, it takes forever to get started, and you feel all this pressure to quit your job. But then you look at the momentum method. It is the complete opposite. It's all about running lots of quick, small tests. The financial risk is next to nothing. You find out what works and what doesn't super fast. And this is the best part. You can do it all while keeping the security of your day job. Okay, so all this talk about momentum is great, but how do you actually create it? How do you get that ball rolling? Well, it all starts with a very specific, totally actionable, and really low-cost first step, what they call the $500 validation test. And that right there is the magic number. Less than $500, that's the entire budget you need to figure out if one of your business ideas is actually any good. I mean, think about it. This isn't about betting the farm on an idea. It's more like buying a super cheap lottery ticket, but one with really, really good odds. And here is the absolute key to the whole thing. You don't start by building at all. You start by selling. The core strategy is to use a simple platform, something like Facebook Marketplace, create a basic listing for the solution you're proposing to build, and just see if real people are actually willing to pay for it. You're testing for demand before you ever invest a single second into building the supply. And look, this isn't just some hypothetical number they pulled out of thin air. You can see exactly how that budget could break down. Most of it, about $300, goes to a small ad spend just to get some eyeballs on your idea. The rest covers the absolute bare essentials, like a cheap landing page tool and a domain name. It's a real, tangible plan for figuring out if your idea has legs, for about the cost of a weekend trip. So let's just tie this all together. When you boil it all down, the vibe coding blueprint really stands on 3 main pillars.
First, the tool, using AI with just plain English. Second, the mindset, choosing momentum and speed over slow, perfect focus. And third, the action, always validating your idea with a cheap test before you go all in.
And that's pretty much the blueprint in a nutshell. It's a system designed to just tear down the barriers to starting something new. It replaces high risk and slow, painful progress with speed and getting answers fast. So really, the only question left is, if you could solve any little problem out there with just your words, what's your first vibe going to be?